Happy Flashback Friday. Hope you're all doing great. This is a video from my time at Westwood Memorial Park in Los Angeles, California, otherwise known as Pierce Brothers. This cemetery here is super star-studded. It is incredible. The amount of celebrities they have in this little tiny cemetery, you guys are about to see. And what I showed on this video wasn't even scratching the surface hardly. They've got so many people. So without any further ado, let's get on with it. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Well, I am at Westwood Memorial Park, also known as Pierce Brothers, here in Los Angeles, California. I'm here to find a few graves: Marilyn Monroe, Hugh Hefner, Don Knotts. I've got about 25 people that I want to find. Now, the thing is, for those of you who have never been here, this cemetery is extremely small, like no joke. It's like you don't need to look up people or look up their section or their plot number or anything, because as you're walking, you're finding these people as you're walking. It is so small in there. It's in the middle of the downtown area, like a really odd place for a cemetery, so it's extremely small. My only snafu right now is, at the moment, there is a service going on inside the cemetery, and it's that small that I feel like I'm too close to people still filming. Even if I'm not around them, if I'm over here looking at a grave, I still feel like I'm a little too close with my camera to people. It's, like I said, it's hard to describe, but it is small. So I'm gonna wait a little while. I talked to one of the groundskeepers. He said the service should be blowing over in a little while. So we'll get in there, and I'll wait a little while longer and we'll get in there. It's open till like 5 or 6 p.m. anyway. It's only 11:42 a.m. right now at the time of this filming. So we'll have to wait. I'm up at the parking garage right now. Yes, there's a parking garage down here because, like I said, it's downtown. That's crazy. Right up over that wall is the cemetery. Like I said, very odd place for a cemetery, but let's go in there and see what's going on. Front gates are right here. Here's the grave of Don Knotts, actor, comedian. He was born Jesse Donald Knotts in Morgantown, West Virginia. And he is best known for his roles as Barney Fife on the Andy Griffith Show, and who can forget the landlord he played in Three's Company, Ralph Furley, from the 1970s television series Three's Company. Come on, Ralph Furley was a classic. That was an awesome role. When he was younger, he entered the United States Army following his freshman year and served in the Pacific Theater Entertainment Troops in a variety show called Stars and Gripes. Following the war, he returned to college, graduating in 1948 with a bachelor's degree in education. He became a regular on several radio and television programs, including The Steve Allen Show. In 1955, he made his theatrical debut on Broadway, appearing in the comedy No Time for Sergeants, along with Andy Griffith. In 1959, he moved to Hollywood, where he joined Griffith on The Andy Griffith Show. He appeared on the series from 1960 to 65 as a regular cast member, earning 5 Emmy Awards for his outstanding performance as a supporting actor. After a successful career in low-budget films, which lasted into the late 70s, he returned to television as the leisure suit-clad landlord Ralph Furley in Three's Company. Now that is probably my favorite Don Knotts role right there, Ralph Furley. Like I said, he was a classic. The stone is all in the sun here, but I'm trying to get it as best as I can. 1924 to 2006. He saw the poignancy in people's pride and pain and turned it into something hilarious and endearing. And there's pictures of him in his different roles throughout his career. Ralph Furley is front and center, the biggest one there. Oh, I'm sorry, Barney Fife. Excuse me, not Ralph Furley. I had Ralph Furley on the brain. Barney Fife. As you're walking along here, they have these little side mausoleum, columbarium combo deals. In the Sanctuary of Tranquility here, I found a stone or a faceplate that was kind of telling and kind of funny. Mr. Cochran right here. Loved forever. Marilyn is around the corner. A little bit of clue who's around the corner there, but we'll get to that later. I found one right here. Jonathan Harris. Born November 6th, 1914 to November 3rd, 2002. He was on one of my favorite shows. He was on Lost in Space as Dr. Zachary Smith. I loved that show, even though it was a little bit before my time. He was the son of Russian immigrants. He grew up in Brooklyn. He received a pharmacology degree from Fordham University, but after seeing several local plays, he decided he wanted to pursue acting instead. To correct his Brooklyn accent, he watched hundreds of English movies, changed his name, and then joined the Mill Pond Playhouse in Long Island. His Broadway debut was in 1942's Heart of the City. During World War II, he toured with the USO in the Pacific Theater. Upon his return, he landed a co-starring role in the 1957-60 series The Third Man. Other TV roles, which including guest spots on The Outlaws, Bonanza, and a regular part in The Bill Dana Show. In 1965, he was cast in his most famous role, Dr. Zachary Smith, in the pilot for Lost in Space. It says that TV Guide proclaimed him the best supporting actor of 1966. With the unexpected cancellation of Lost in Space, Harris found himself fighting typecasting. He found guest roles in Night Gallery, Bewitched, Ghost, and Mrs. Muir, Sanford and Son, Get Smart. By 1982, he all but retired from screen performances and devoted himself to voiceover work. His voice was heard in numerous commercials and cartoons, including Darkwing Duck, Freakazoid, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, Toy Story 2, and Hubert's Brain. He also provided the voice for the fabulous, smarmy Lucifer on the original Battlestar Galactica. Harris reprised his role of Dr. Smith in the one-hour TV special Lost in Space Forever. In 1998, his last major role was in A Bug's Life. Harris died at an Encino Medical Center from a blood clot that reached his heart after he was hospitalized for an unrelated illness. He was attended by his wife of 64 years. Funeral services were held on what would have been his 88th birthday. At the time of his death, he was working on a television movie, Lost in Space, The Journey Home. Oh man. He was working on another Lost in Space project when he passed. I always liked that character, Dr. Smith. As you can see, this place is not very big. It's just a circle all the way around. And everyone's close to a lot of the celebrities are close to the road here. It's just like a big circle. Over there was the funeral service. I'm not going to show too much of that. But as you can see, this place is not huge, so it's easy to find people. And here's a quick one here. Buddy Rich. He was one of the finest jazz drummers of all time. He says he was able to adapt to different drumming styles, even putting a little bit of elements of rock into his repertoire. And he was a favorite on a bunch of the talk shows, The Tonight Show, The Merv Griffin Show, all those, the Mike Douglas Show, Dick Cavett. He was a favorite on a lot of those talk shows as well. In 1987, he died from heart failure after a brain tumor surgery. 1917 to 1987, Buddy Rich. And look who we found. We found Marilyn Monroe, 1926 to 1962. And there's lip marks all over it as well. And people have left candles, flowers, a card. Very, very cool. And she is best remembered for playing the blonde bombshell characters, and she became one of the most popular, I would say, sex symbols of the 1950s and probably all time. And it said she'd only been a top-billed actress for 10 years, and by the time her death happened in 1962, her films had grossed $200 million. And it says, in 1944, as part of the war effort, she was introduced to a photographer from the First Motion Picture Unit and began a successful pin-up modeling career. The work led to short-lived film contracts with 20th Century Fox, 1946 to 47, and Columbia Pictures, 1948. And also, after a series of minor film roles, she signed a new contract with 20th Century Fox in 1951. And over the next 2 years became a popular actress and had roles in several comedies. And then shortly after, a scandal ensued because it had been discovered that she posed for nude photos before she was famous. And instead of it like ruining her career, it just increased interest in her movies more and more. And then in 1962, she was found dead in her home of an apparent overdose, which spawned for years conspiracy theories as to what really happened to her. But definitely an icon. Don't want her death to overshadow anything here. She was a movie icon, one of the most sought after actresses of her time, and in the imaginations of a lot of young men worldwide, and I'm sure still to this day. So it's common knowledge that Marilyn was married to baseball player Joe DiMaggio, and while they were married, he bought two of these spots, two of these crypt areas, one for her and one for him. But following their divorce in 1954, Joe sold it to Richard here, and Richard is known as the man with the eternal smile. And off to the left of Marilyn is Hugh M. Hefner, 1926 to 2017. And he started a magazine that is probably ingrained in every man's brain since childhood or their teenage years. Playboy magazine. He launched Playboy magazine into a local brand and led the way for the so-called sexual revolution of the 1960s. I had to step away. There was a lot of people visiting Maryland over there, right next to Hugh Hefner, so I had to step away. But Hugh Hefner was in the Army for a bit, and then in the 50s, he got a job with Esquire magazine as a copywriter. And then in 1953, through family and friends, he raised $8,000 to start Playboy magazine. And Playboy magazine was also the first to do the pull-out centerfold for the Playmate of the Month. And when Playboy started, it featured pictures of Marilyn Monroe, solidifying it as a total brand. I do believe that issue, I think it said it initially sold 50,000 copies or something to that effect. And it said by 1971, from what I understand, Playboy was selling 7 million copies a month. And then in 1974, good old Hugh Hefner moved into the Playboy mansion. And eventually Hugh married, some years later, his girlfriend, or his longtime girlfriend, Kimberly Conrad, and they had a couple of sons. And then, you know, Hugh Hefner was involved in different things over the years. The E! Channel, the Girls Next Door TV show, and some other things. And then some years later, Hugh got married to another girlfriend, Crystal Harris, and he was semi-retired, and he was actually hopeful. He was saying that hopefully he thought one day one of his sons would take over the reins of the publication. But unfortunately, in April of 2017, a private equity firm put Playboy Enterprises on sale for $500 million to shore up the media corporation's finances. Hugh Hefner's cause of death: he died in 2017 at the age of 91 years old, and he died at the Playboy Mansion, and the cause was sepsis brought on by an E. coli infection. But that man lived to 91, and you know he lived one heck of a life. So that's all good. I know I keep doing a lot of stop motion, like talking and cutting it off and talking and cutting it off, only because this place got real busy with just, you know, people visiting Marilyn Monroe and a bunch of other graves around here. So let's see what else we can find here. You guys want to talk about nature reclaiming? Look at this bench. Look at these graves. Of course, you've seen these graves that are around trees. The stones start shifting around and moving around. But look at this bench that was here. I'm sure it was here before the tree grew like that. It's crazy. It says in memory of Joseph Aronson from his loving wife Sylvia, 1901 to 1976. So this tree grew that much. Man, look at all that destruction there. And here's the grave of actor and Hollywood legend Kirk Douglas, and the father to Michael Douglas. I mean, Kirk Douglas was in so many iconic roles over the years, it's insane. He was really known for his strong portrayals as different characters of Spartacus, Vincent van Gogh, Doc Holliday, the list goes on. It says he was the son of Jewish immigrants and became the patriarch of an acting family. He was the father of actor Michael Douglas, and his daughter-in-law is Catherine Zeta-Jones. He attended the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City, where he met Lauren Bacall, who helped him launch his film career. She recommended him to a producer, Hal B. Wallace, and he was cast in The Strange Love of Martha Ivers, 1946, opposite Barbara Stanwyck. He starred in over 90 films on the silver screen and on television. He ended up playing a wide variety of characters, from dark and troubled to the happy-go-lucky type. Some of his most iconic roles were playing the gladiator in Spartacus, the troubled artist Vincent van Gogh in Lust for Life, and Doc Holliday in Gunfight at the OK Corral. And in 2004, one of his sons, Eric, had died as well. But this guy... And that was it from Pierce Brothers there in Los Angeles, California. Hope you all enjoyed the video for a Flashback Friday here. As this year comes to an end, I wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year ahead of time. I'm sure I'll be talking to you guys before that, but for sure, wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, because next week I'm not going to be very active. So if I don't see you guys, happy holidays, enjoy, stay safe, and all that good stuff. Share this video if you can, get it out there to the masses, and we'll see you next time with another video. Peace out.